Yeah, a very good morning, dear esteemed viewer, and welcome to our today's edition of Citizens and the Law on ABS Television, Channel 27 on Nature. In our today's edition, we are going to look at legal liabilities for possession of firearms and poisons. Ife anyị chọrọ ikwu maka ya tata bụ ikike ndị mmadụ nwere ọ nke ha enweghị n'inwe ihe dịka egbe ma ọ bụ poison, ihe na-egbu mmadụ ma ọ bụ nke eji azọ ndụ, ha ncha bụ poison. I have with me here in the studio to ensure doing justice on the topic of the day by getting all the I's and T's dotted and crossed. In respect to provision of answers to all the questions, I have a gentleman here from the police community, from the police force, a gentleman that has many good attributes around him, the DPO of Fege Police Station. I have Chief Superintendent of Police, Chief Rabiu Garoba of the Fege Police community. Is the DPO there? Chief, you're welcome to the studio.
Yeah, good morning.
My name is Jude Mascot Biago. I am the presenter of this program, Citizens and the Law on ABS. Chief, a lot of things have been happening as regards the ownership of firearms and the position of poisons. We can call it dangerous materials. I want us to get started by you giving us a definition of these poisonous and dangerous things. Can you exemplify in the course of this definition?
Yes, sir. Firearm, as the name connotes, is all lethal barrel weapon of any description of which shot, bullet, or any other missiles can be discharged. What I mean here, any lethal means something that is capable of causing death. Any lethal barrel weapon that passes through the barrel of gun, for instance, of which either shot, either a bullet, or a missile can be discharged through such weapon. We call it firearm. And this firearm is classified into three. We have prohibited firearm, we have personal firearm, and we have muzzle loading firearm. Prohibited firearm include all these rocket launchers, grenade, mostly this artillery equipment, military equipment. All those are classified under prohibited firearm. All these automatic rifle, AK-47, automatic pistol, all of them fall under the category of prohibited firearm. Then we have the second category, which fall under personal firearm, like double barrel, single barrel, cap gun, air rifle, sport rifle, and etc. All those ones, we call them personal firearm. Then we have muzzle loading. Muzzle loading, like all this den gun, cap gun loading, like all this local den gun used by hunters in our hinterland areas. Those category of firearm are called muzzle loading. Muzzle from the word muzzle, meaning we loaded them through the mount of the gun. So that type of gun, like den gun, which we use gunpowder and local bullet to fire such gun, we call them muzzle loading firearm. These are the simple example from the definition. We can extract and classify the three categories of firearm. Like bomb, grenade, rocket are prohibited. AK-47, artillery rifle, and etc. All those automatic rifle and semi-automatic rifle fall within the category of prohibited firearm. Like all these gun that is used by this pump action that are automatic, all of them fall under category of prohibited. Then personal, like single barrel, double barrel, and a sport rifle, fling rifle, all those ones fall under personal. Then muzzle loading, like den gun, cap gun loading, those that are loaded through the mount of the gun, we call them muzzle loading firearm.
I want you to come to the side of the poisonous materials.
Poisonous materials include all these explosives. They are poisonous, like all these those that are capable of killing human beings. Poisons, those like acid and etc. All those ones that are very dangerous weapons, dangerous chemicals that are capable of causing the death of person are classified as poisons.
This poisonous material, does it include some aspect of drugs?
There is some drugs that are capable of causing death. Drugs, when we are going to drugs administration entirely is a different thing. Issues of drug from manufacturing, they have a purpose. Even like tramadol, which is banned all over the world, you discover a pharmacist will tell you that he's certified to administer drug and poison. So some poison are mainly like all these people on chemo that has a cancer problem. There's some drugs that are not nominally accepted to other patients, but those drugs, in the case of depending on the nature of their patient, they can administer to them. Even cocaine is meant purposely for some curing particular people who have like cancer for the pain and etc. But by the time there's somebody that is not suffering under that pain, took that drugs may likely cause something different. So it's relative depending on the usage of the drug. So the abuse mostly come from administration of such drug.
Thank you very much, sir. You mentioned some of the prohibited firearms. You also went down to talk on personal firearms and the muzzle loading aspect of firearms, and
Yes.
then
Yes.
you came down to bombs and
Grenades.
things like hand grenades. Now, when you talk about this prohibited one, where and where are some of these firearms prohibited? A private individual, which of the firearms becomes a prohibited one? Then, when you come down to, I don't know, I want you to enumerate the range of these firearms, where and where they are supposed to be used, and where, if they are used, it becomes a prohibited firearm.
Okay, their license determined the usage. Like prohibited firearm, it is only the president, commander-in-chief of the armed force, or the Act of National Assembly can empower a person to use such firearm. Like members of the Nigerian police, we use AK-47. It's a prohibited firearm, but the Act of National Assembly has already approved because of the nature of our duty for protecting life and property or apprehension of dangerous criminals. So those firearms are already guaranteed for the members of the force to use it. But to use it for the positive use, I'm not referring they can use it anyhow or otherwise. We will come to those circumstances when they are justified to use them. So then they're like members of the military that you can see custom, immigration, even civil defense. You see the National Assembly have empowered them. But you can see when road safety are agitating to have firearm, the National Assembly doesn't guarantee this. So such firearm that they are prohibited, it is only the Act of National Assembly or the president of the country on behalf of the state can guarantee such person to use that firearm. That is why those category of firearm, we call them prohibited firearm.
Prohibited to some people?
Yes, it's prohibited to some people, but allowed to some people. Like those agencies are enumerated. Okay. Then an individual, you can even have an automatic pistol. So it can be guaranteed, like some couple of incidents we have in Anambra, where some are already licensed. So you can see even when the whistleblowers blow the whistle, they later discover that that person has a license from the presidency. So that type of license should only come from the commander-in-chief of the armed force of this country. And it is purposely issued not for any sentiment, just on the interests of the state. Then like a personal firearm, we have double barrel, single barrel. Individual can apply for the license, and the Inspector General of Police should be in position to grant that license. So he may likely delegate such power to the Commissioner of Police of the state, who can now in turn exercise that delegated authority by granting a license like double barrel, single barrel, sport rifle, and etc. Those ones you see, they are not automatic rifle, but individual can possess them, like double barrel rifle, single barrel rifle. Those category an individual can possess after he follow a due process and have a substantial qualification of bearing those firearms.
Thank you.
Then the muzzle loading, a local authority, that's a state, the governor can delegate commissioner of police to license through the local authority, native authority, to bear a muzzle loading firearm. Like den gun, the local hunters use it to kill grass cutters in our local community. Such license can be granted through the state.
But some hunters may have made mistake or intentionally killed somebody in the bush with the excuse that the leg of the person has resembled the leg of one of the animals.
Now I will take us deep into legal liability, general defense.
Yeah.
That's what we call mistake of fact. If you have a reasonable and honest mistake that is citing that human being like antelope, and he fired, he don't have intention to kill, then issue of mistake of fact under criminal liability can exonerate him or otherwise.
And the wicked person can equally kill with the pretense that he thought the leg of that thing he killed.
Once it is in pretense, the investigation will reveal the intention of the murderer. Through the investigation, even though the law say even devil didn't know the intention of the man, but it is through likely consequences. If that person has a grudge, maybe he's chasing his wife and etc., those evidence would unveil to show that that mistake was not honest and it is not reasonably to believe that it is a mistake of fact. So therefore the person will be culpable for murder. That means it is an intentional killing, and he can be liable under section 316 of the criminal code law, murder.
Okay, I want to say a big thank you to men of the power holding there for enabling us to do this very program, and of course a very interesting one there. We are talking about the legal liabilities for possession of firearms and poisonous materials. With me here in the studio doing justice on the topic of the day is the DPO Fege Police Station, Chief Superintendent of Police CSP Rabiu Garba. I've mentioned the topic more. I still remain yours here on TV, Jude Mascot, the anchor of this very program. Let's embark on a short break. We'll be right back. Yeah, thank you. Citizens and the Law is a program aimed at letting the citizens, you and I, know your rights or their rights, defend the these rights, and of course become law-abiding citizens. That is why we are doing the program. Once again, I have the DPO of Fege Police Community, CSP Rabiu Garba, doing justice to the topic of the day. Sir, what are the conditionalities in law to possess firearms and their licenses? For somebody to have these firearms, are there conditions the person should meet? Because I know I want to have firearm, but I know I don't have it. Either for one reason or the other. One is afraid of being arrested. What shall one do to have it? Or do we not have right to have firearms?
You have a right to have a firearm, more especially this category of personal firearm.
Yeah.
And because there is a lot of like issue of gaming, like all the sport rifle, they fall under the categories of firearm. Like normally in our olden days in the school, they will say on your mark, get set, and they will fire the gun. Because that one sport rifle, they are all under personal firearm. So for you to have the firearm, the prerequisite to it is to have the license. So you must get the license before possessing the firearm, not possessing the firearm before sourcing for the license. Because if you are found, meaning you are unlawfully possessing the firearm without license. So this license, there is a qualification that before you bear a firearm, we have almost 7 items here, I think 5 or 7. I think 5 instances that we will observe in that person to make sure when you are applying for a firearm. First and foremost, the person should be above 17 years. 17 years meaning you should be 18 plus before you bear a firearm. So that is to say a juvenile, any person under the age of 17 downward, is not qualified to apply for a firearm because we believe that he doesn't have capacity to know what he's doing and he lacks capacity to control his action. And firearm and poison, these are deadly materials. They will call them lethal. Lethal means something from the definition, say, all lethal barrel weapon. Lethal means something dangerous, capable of causing that person, another person death or death of that person himself. So it is something that requires care, attention, and the purpose of all this is to ensure public safety, safety of life, and etc. So therefore, whoever is applying for firearm, that person must be above 17 years, so 18 and above. In summary, the person must be adult before he apply for the license to bear firearm. That's first instance. The second instance, the person should not be a person of unsound mind. Unsound mind, that is people that are mad, people that are suffering from maladaptive behavior, or people that have some psychological depression. So a person of unsound mind, like mad person that has a history of insanity, that person cannot bear firearm because we don't know whether he is at lucid interval. Then you now come as a gentleman, but there is a period where that subconscious behavior, that madness is coming up. So it will be very, very dangerous when you issue license to somebody of unsound mind. That's why we have to get a medical certification from a medical practitioner of government hospital to ensure that this person that is applying for license has no case, has no history of mental crisis, so that we don't want a situation where he will now later shoot, and when he shoot and person die, they say no, the person is a psychiatric patient. So life is very, very sacrosanct, and we don't want to play with life, and that's why it's one of the prerequisites. The person must be a sound human being, not person of unsound mind. That is the second point. The person of unsound mind is not qualified to apply. Then, thirdly, like a person would have that has a defective eyesight, somebody that doesn't see well. You know, we have a lot of eye problem like short-sightedness, long-sightedness, or astigmatism of the eye. All this glaucoma, the person cannot see very well, and he's having a firearm, and instead of firing at target A, he fired target B. You see, invariably he has caused the death of another person. These weapons are very dangerous. We don't want to take them for granted. So once that person that is applying, it shows clearly he has a defective eye problem, that person is not qualified to bear a firearm. Then fourthly, the person of intemperate habit. Intemperate habit, people with hot temper, you know them. Say, Ebuka has a hot temper. So those people with hot temper, they are not qualified. If there is a history or information about him through investigation before granting him license, that person has a hot temper. We don't want a situation where mere squabble, be disagreement, quarrel, disagreement, and the person will pull the trigger of his rifle and shoot at that person because the person has a hot temper. So those people of intemperate habit, through our own inquiry, once we discover there are people that has hot temperament, those people are not qualified to apply for firearm license. Then finally, those people that are convicted for offenses related to violence within the period of that 1 year. So if you see someone that they have been convicting for fighting, or maybe fighting on the land, or macheting other people, those people who are convicted, that shows that they have a criminal record of offenses relating to violence. So that type of person is not qualified to bear a firearm, because he who used machete to have a serious crisis, causing harm, causing grievous harm, or wounding or destroying other people's life and property, that type of person is not qualified. So once there's a record that is convicted within that time frame, that person is not qualified to bear a firearm. So ex-convict of offense like assault, wounding, or assault occasioning harm, once the record is there, that the court try him for wounding another person and is convicted within the time frame 1, 2, 3 years up to 5 years, within that range, that person should not apply for firearm. So these are the physical qualification that is expected on the person who is applying to bear a firearm. So if he meet up with the requirement, fine. If he didn't meet up with the requirement, he will be disqualified uprightly.
I am happy to have CSP Rabiu Garba here in the studio. Actually, he is getting at the facts and points, is dotting the I's and is crossing the T's. Some people are illegally operating firearms individually and in a wider scope. Can you, through example, point at these people and then tell us what it should be? If you go to the forest, some people are using this thing legally. If you go to some farms, people are using it illegally. And these people are Nigerians. Some of them are not Nigerians. I don't know. Is there anything you have to say about illegal possession and use of these firearms in a more practical time? And then what does it mean to possess a firearm?
Actually, what it means for you to possess is the quality you will display, and the purpose of bearing firearm is not to save your life or to save your property. The purpose of having a firearm is either for hunting or for gaming. That is the only reason that the object of granting license to individual, because the duty of protecting your life and your property, it is being saddled with the police, Nigerian police force, other security agencies, military and etc. They are the people who are saddled with the responsibility of protecting your life and property and protecting your territorial integrity. So our law, our norms, values, folksway, law of this country had not granted anybody to bear firearm for the purpose of protecting his life or protecting his property. That is the duty of the government constitutionally, that police are established under section 214, subsection 1, and our duties are spelled out under subsection 2 and section 3 of the Police Act and Regulation, Cap 359, Laws of the Federation 1990. So this is primarily the duty of the state. But in the other way for you to apply to have this firearm should be purely for hunting and gaming. So as regard to the illegal acquisition of firearm in our society today, this has become a very serious social milieu. And that's why what brought this issue of incessant killing, insecurity, issue of Fulani herdsmen, armed robbers, banditry, kidnapping, and etc. Because the regulation of arms and ammunition in this country was let loose. And that's why a lot of people bear firearm illegally, and they went and checked. So, and this is what is giving birth to most of the violent crime that claim a lot of life and property, like Boko Haram in the northern Nigeria, bandit in Zamfara, bandit in Katsina, kidnapping and armed robbery in the southeast. All these are the trouble. But that's why you see there was a time that there's an executive order, the president said they should go for mop-up of arms, small arms infiltration all across the country. This is a very serious problem and has become a threat to the national security. So people that own a firearm illegally, it is a serious offense. We call it unlawful possession of firearm, depending on the circumstances and the types of arm informed. But there is punishable with from 2, 5, 7 years up to 21 years imprisonment, depending on the category of firearm. It is a serious crime, more especially under Firearm 2014. It has enumerated a lot of instances that once you acquire the arm illegally, it attracts a legal punishment depending on the category of firearm.
About the DPO of Fege Police Station, Onitsha CSP Rabiu Garba, and the topic is legal liability for possession of firearms and dangerous things. here on ABS Television Channel 27 on Nature. I still want to say kudos to the Power Holdings there for holding us on in this very program. And I think I have to call out the lines so that those who want to call us to ask questions are free to do that. You can do that on 081 222 7384. 081 222 7384. I think something is missing there. 070 467 7764. You can call any of these lines, you ask your questions, and he is here to address those questions. Okay, sir. What is. All right, let's take another break before we come back. Very much. We are going on this very number 081 72384. I repeat again 081 72384. You can also call on 080 332 45290. 080 332 45290. The other one is 081 72384. And ask your questions. Okay, the number is there on the screen 070 467 77644. That's a better one. So you can call us on any of those numbers there and ask your questions. This is not where we make contributions because I have an expert here in this who is just doing the needful. Okay. The topic remains legal liabilities for possession of firearms and dangerous materials in law. Sir, I want you to tell us what it means. What is an illegal weapon? You've stated that. Is illegal gun possession a felony?
Yeah, it's a felony depending on the class of that firearm.
Yeah.
Some are punishable with 7 years, some are punishable with 21 years, some are punishable with 3 years, depending on the category of firearm you possess. So, like more especially, there's a lot of offenses ranging from the individual dealer.
Yeah.
We have dealer under firearms. There's those who are having a dealer license, and you know, there's a category of people that will carry that firearm. You don't need to possess license. Like someone that has a dealer license, you don't need to. It's just like a car dealer. You don't need to register all the car he has. So a dealer, somebody who has a license as a dealer to sell guns, that person don't need to obtain license for each gun. You will only present what is called a dealer license. But if an individual is found with such gun without license, he may be punished as an individual. But as a dealer, you cannot be punished as a dealer. You will only present
I think
your
we
license
have
as
a
dealer.
caller here. Hello. Yeah, good morning, my brother. Your name and location, then your question.
My name is Nnamdi. I'm calling from Territory.
Namdi, go ahead with your question.
Okay, what I want to ask is, possession of pump action prohibited? That is my question.
Okay, is possession of pump action prohibited? Is it an outlaw, sir?
Pump action gun is an automatic rifle. Any gun that you will just cock and be firing till you finish the ammunition is a prohibited firearm. So is not allowed. No person except president can grant you a license to use a prohibited firearm like pump action gun.
Okay. Then maybe the person may want to know about the double barrel gun.
Double barrel is only double barrel and single barrel. Those one are allowed. You can obtain their license. You can apply for their license as I enumerate the qualification of bearing them.
Yeah.
But pump action gun is an automatic gun. So maybe you want to make reference to some of the vigilantes cited using pump action gun. That is just a common discretion. It's an oversight function, and we don't need to mention it officially.
Okay.
We are not allowed to use it. Only when the presidency or the Act of National Assembly authorize you to bear it. It's an automatic firearm. These pump action, some carry 8 cartridges, some carry 10 cartridges, and when you are firing, you don't need to cock and shoot. Once you cock it, it will be picking and extracting. And any gun that you will pick, and when you fire, extracted the empty shell and continue firing, it's an automatic firearm. And those automatic firearms are not allowed to be licensed by individual.
Okay, the number to call once more is 081-222-72384. I repeat the number again, 081-222-72384. The other line is 070-467-77644. You can call us and ask your question on anything you want to know about the use of firearms and poisonous materials. So I want to personally ask you this again. People out there, they are saying that if gun is legalized generally, somebody can easily pick gun and gun down somebody who is owing him over mere provocation. So what's your take on that?
Well, you can see law is relative. What is allowed in Nigeria is not allowed in other country, and what is allowed in other country like America, gun is legalized. And even though they still consider all these rules guiding the person to pick the gun. And we can emphatically state at this point, even those countries that gun are legalized, you discover there's a lot of sanity and crime. Though in America, there's a statistics show the number of reckless use of firearm. But we that doesn't own firearm, the number of deaths in our own side is even more than those people that are being authorized to bear the firearm. So it's the Act of National Assembly. You should look at it. There's a lot of school of thought that say if you want peace, you should prepare for war. So if everybody has gun in his house, I don't think somebody will come to your house and intimidate you with gun because you know you too you have a gun. So it's tit for tat. So this is all experiment. It can work in other places. It may likely not work here. It may likely work. All these are experiments. But it is the act of the legislation to sit down through the eye of law and see the motive of establishing those laws. If it is allowed, some people may look at it. Nobody will come to your house and intimidate you like Fulani herdsmen coming to your farm, destroy your farm, intimidate you with gun. So if they know the owner of the farm too has a gun, I believe they will be very, very careful. So it's a hypothetical question. You may try it and see whether the advantage and disadvantage is arguable. But when we discover the advantage is more than the disadvantage, we can take the side. So Nigeria, I know we are not advanced because of lack of database. We don't have a database. Person can possess gun, you don't have the history of that person. and you cannot trace it. Even when you recover the gun, you take the latent fingerprint. There's no database to trace the users. So mostly this is applicable to countries that are advanced a little. More especially, you have your data bomb. Person that is issued that rifle is known. The location is known. When you want to retrieve the rifle, you know them. You call them through their house number and everything with strong verification with their fingerprint in the system. So that will make you, whenever you are using it, will be cautious. But in Nigeria, we don't have a database. The NIM, National Identification Commission, which is supposed to harmonize all the information, all citizens of Nigeria to be captured on a system to make easy accessibility and authenticate whoever is using the gun and who is not using it. And whenever the gun is used or the gun is found, we have known the actual order. That would be a very good rules guiding the people to use the firearm. But at this stage, we don't have a database. That's why we can go to Zimbabwe and do passport to go to other country. And that's why it will be very, very difficult when arms is let loose in Nigeria. A lot of hate will roll.
It's not legalized already, and the heads are ruling. Like you rightly said, if this gun should be in the hand of everybody, what the Fulani herdsmen are doing will be at minimal.
You'll be at minimal. You have gun, I have gun. So do me, I do you.
Can you enumerate on gun violence in Nigeria?
Gun violence, these are the attacks that are coming mostly from the gun. Gun is used for kidnapping, is used for armed robbery, is used by the Boko Haram to assassinate people, cases of genocide, cases of killing, banditry, armed robbery in Nigeria. All these violent crimes are being accompanied. They have the concomitant use with firearms. So these are the things that most of the violent crimes that claim lives in this country are being accompanied by the use of gun. So cases of gun violence is at alarming rate. Without gun, I believe that most of the crime are minimal. We will remain with all these little touting and etc.
Okay, we shall go on short break. When we come back, we want to know the processes of purchasing private guns and obtaining their licenses. Let's go on break. Yeah, thank you there, men in the MCR. Thank you, Power Holding, and thank you all of you there helping to make sure that this program is rolling on fine. Sir, like I rightly said, what are the processes of purchasing private guns and obtaining their licenses? Even though you've mentioned it slightly, I want you to go deeper. Let's pick a caller. Hello. Hello. Yeah, raise your voice so that we can hear you. Hello, go ahead. Your name and location, but we're not hearing you. Talk louder. Okay, sir.
Okay. The procedure, there is a form under the act. When you go through the act, there is some schedules. The forms are there. You go to our state CID. There is an armament department. There is a form you pick and fill. So you fill the form, all the ingredient, the information and certification they wanted from you are there, so that you fill the form and apply for the license. So if it is those personal firearm, the Commissioner of Police will forward it to Inspector General. And in some cases, there is a delegated authority where the Inspector General of Police have delegated the Commissioner of Police of the state.
Hello. 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 Let's take a break. Okay, please, you are free to keep trying. We are going to get on with you. The number to call again is 081-222-72384, The other line is 07046777776. We have another caller. Okay. 07046777744. That's the number to call. So, sir, please don't be offended. You may continue.
Okay. The Inspector General of Police have delegated Commissioner of Police. You fill in the Commissioner of Police in charge of Criminal Investigation Department. There is a form they are going to give you, and there's a lot of certification that you are going, like issue of eye, sight, and etc., and all your criminal record. They are going to check it to confirm with the information given and process it, and that will grant you a license. So once you have obtained a license, you have power to go and purchase the gun from the dealer.
Okay, that's a good one. What are the penalties for illegal possession of poisons?
Poisons, the penalty, as I rightly said, pharmacists are allowed to administer drug and poison. So if there is an abuse of use of drug, like those ones, we have a agency called NAFDAC, National Drug Food Administration, and etc. So once those drugs, maybe those psychoactive drugs, poisons that are not allowed to be administered, they will look at it depending on the effect of that drug. Some of the poison cause death, you can go for murder. Some of the poison are giving serious injury, person can go for the harm depending on the effect. But once you obtain some poison, and such poison are used to cause somebody death, you may be likely culpable for manslaughter or murder straight. So it ranges according to their degrees. So it is depending on the circumstances the penalties come. But up to death sentence, depending on how the effect of such poison affected the society.
Okay, we expect more people to call and answer questions because we are trying to wrap up now. 081-222-72384, 081-222-72384, and 07046777644. You can call in any of these numbers, probably on the screen. If they bring it out, you look there and you can call us from there. Okay? You have a caller? Hello? Hello?
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Your name and location. Please, if you call us, you tune down the volume of your TV set so that you won't have a problem getting us or reaching us. Yeah. 081-222-72384 and 070-467-77644. Sir, thank you very much for that provision of answer to that last question. What's the penalty for threatening somebody with a gun?
When you threaten somebody with a gun and you didn't shoot, it's an assault. Because the assault is any person who makes any gesture or preparation, or with such gesture or preparation is about to use criminal force.
Even with a fake gun?
Even it is fake gun. Once you have inspired fear in somebody, make the person present become apprehended, it's an assault. And once you use the gun, it's another side of it. Once you use the gun, it's a murder or attempted murder if the person didn't die. If you use the gun and the person died, it's murder. Once it's an intentional and the person doesn't deserve that, you shoot him with gun. But there are some instances that police are justified to use the gun or other law enforcement agent. Like more especially a police officer is justified to use the gun and there will be no case. Like in an event where the person, maybe another person's life is in danger and there's no other way to save that person's life. Let's say armed robbers or rioters block him to set the house ablaze, for instance, or armed robbers are shooting at them. The police officer has a duty to protect the life of that person. So once someone's life is in danger and there's an apprehension of death and there's no other way to save that person's life except the use of gun, it has become as a last resort. A police officer is justified to use the gun under that condition. Then if the police officer himself is attacked, not defending someone in this case, himself is attacked and his life is in danger and there's no any other way to save his life, the use of gun becomes the last resort. In this case, we are using two doctrines, doctrine of necessity and doctrine of proportionality. In an event where somebody attacks you with ordinary cane and you carry gun, or somebody slap you, use gun, it's not proportionate. Let it be that your attack with someone, maybe you would do something that you know is capable of causing your death. That's why they say there's an apprehension of death. The life is under the probability of surviving or dying. In that case, a police officer will use the gun as a last resort to defend himself. Likewise, in defending another person. So these are the two instances. Then thirdly, when necessary to disperse rioters, maybe in the event of riot, and police have read the word of proclamation by the commission officer warning the inhabitant to stop destroying life and property, after a reasonable time, if they continue, the police officer, after applying minimum force from the use of baton, tear gas, and the people continue claiming life and property, in that situation, they are justified to use firearm. Then fourthly, when necessary to arrest a prisoner who took a flight, maybe somebody have committed an offense and you know this offense that has committed is punishable on conviction with 5 years imprisonment or more, and the person took a flight to escape, you are justified to use gun on him. Then when prisoner escape or attempt to escape from lawful custody, like those jailbreak and etc., in that event, for the prisoner to escape to defeat the end of justice, a police officer is justified to use firearm. But note that for you to use firearm, we didn't say you should use firearm to kill. The purpose is to maim the person. That's why you should fire at the knee, not to kill the person. So it's for the purpose to maim the person, you fire from knee downward. But if you fire at the knee downward and the person happen to die, police will not be culpable because you shoot to maim, you didn't shoot to kill.
Yeah.
So that is the justification in some instances that the person who is legally authorized to carry a gun to use it. Not that he can use it when somebody is snatching his girlfriend or he has a personal problem with someone.
Yeah, you are getting it all from the DPO of Fege Police Station, CSP Rabi Garuba. Sir, what is a public armory?
A public armory is a building where the public arms are kept repaired and reserved there. So like in Anambra, we're supposed to have a public armory. Like in an event where the license holder died, the members of the family will report to public armory and return the arm because they are not licensed. You see, in some cases, a license holder will be having license and he has a firearm. And maybe in the event of sickness or any misfortune, the person died. Those arms should be taken to public armory. So public armory is a building made purposely for maintenance of public arms and ammunition. So like all the license holder In an event you are traveling, you don't abandon your rifle with children, you will take it to public armory. And public armory, they are saddled with the duties of servicing, maintaining, keeping of the public arms and ammunition.
Do we have such in Anambra State?
It's unfortunate we don't have it. We don't have it. So all this, we don't have public armory, but mostly we improvise alternative. Those that live within the jurisdiction of each DPO, by the time you are traveling or you don't have the need to make use of your firearm, you can take it to a nearby police station and surrender it for a while. In an event where you wish to come back, you can still go back through the divisional police officer, through your license and the number, will do registration and take your rifle too. Then you can see if the public armory, like during election, mostly the government can make a policy that all license holders should retire their arms and ammunition to public armory. So in an event where we don't have it, you can use police station as alternative to public armory.
Thank you very much, sir. Are there things you may like to talk more on this very topic of the day?
My own is admonition. It's a very serious admonition. Please and please, you can see because of crisis and the issue of multinational corporation, people that comes from all this oil rich, the Western country, the multinational corporation, IMF, all these big oil company, they looted our resources and give us in exchange with arms and ammunition. So all those arms and ammunition are what are used in all parts of the country, like what happened in Libya. The arms are littered up to the site of Maiduguri. Boko Haram are using all these arms and ammunition to dehumanize, kill people in this country. So we have to check our words, please. Idea of accessing arms recklessly, it will endanger all. When there's a trouble in one state, it is a trouble to the whole nation. So we have to take care of that. And I'm begging on our own part, being the government agents, we are going to work tooth and nail to ensure that those that are illegally possessing firearms are being arrested and they face the wrath of law.
Okay, thank you very much, dear esteemed viewer. This is where we intend to draw the curtain on our today's edition of Citizens and the Law. It has been the digital and the international reputable police officer, the one who is in charge of Foge Police Station, Onitsha, Chief Superintendent of Police, CSP Rabiu Garbath. Sir, thank you very much to have honored this very invitation.
Thank you, Mr. Mascot.
I am Jude Mascot, the presenter of this very program. I want to say a big thank you to our people there at the Master Control Room. I also want to say a big thank you to the gentlemen there at the Power Holding Company of Nigeria. Until when we come back next week, sir, I think I'm inviting you again. Let us look at detention and bail. They say that bail is free. A lot of things, detention, arrest, and the bail. We're going to talk about that when we come back again. I hope you will oblige if I invite you.
Yeah, it's very fantastic area. This is the area of investigation, and that is the most proximate aspect in criminal administration. So we are going to face it because it is where everything started.
You're always at home with the law. Okay, until we come back next week, it is bye for now. Thank you.